Hello and welcome back to Autumn's Journey. Previously on Autumn's Journey, we got started on our journey to help Kerr find out what the heck he was doing here, or whatever the heck he wants to do, by traveling to an altar. Then we found some rare bird that Orly is now going to try and fight off. Oh yeah, and I'm using another headset right now, so if there's any difference, that's probably why. I immediately stepped in front of Kerr, gripping my sword as I took a defensive stance. There we go. With Kerr's condition, an instant retreat wouldn't work. I'd have to guard him.
Whoa.
What are you... You're not planning to fight it, are you? Do we have a choice? Look out! I shoved Kerr off balance. Thanks to my quick reflexes, we narrowly avoided a slash from the... Avataral's talons. The wind whipped at my hair as debris flew up around us. I scrambled to my feet and sprinted forward, hoping to keep the Avataral's attention away from Kerr. As it dove towards me, I slashed upward. It veered away, dodging my counterattack. Kerr, I'll keep it busy while you get away.
Bring it.
Are you stupid? I'm not leaving you behind. Kerr? I need you to take me to that altar. Maybe if you shouted the directions at me, I could get there alone. I'm kind of busy here. I can't get my bearings in the middle of a battle. My aggravation was the incentive I needed to keep the Avatar at bay. However, my training had never covered aerial attacks, and the bird's scaly front was like armor. Are you holding back? Well, it's just protecting its young. It's trying to kill you. You think I haven't noticed? Oh, for the wings. Clip them. It won't hurt, but I'll stop flying. Just clip the tips. I widened my stance as I prepared for another attack. At the last second, I leapt to the side, slicing at an angle. My sword beautifully sheared the Avatar's thick primary feathers. Holy crap, what the heck? The monster swerved into the ground, its shoulder and head bearing the brunt of the crash. It let out a cry, and I felt a split second of guilt. That vanished with a yelp as the bird tried to tear me down with its talons. Luckily, the Avatar was designed for swooping down at prey rather than running on the ground, so it could only hobble awkwardly. As it screeched and futilely spread its wings, I retreated, grateful that it was even slower than Kerr. I wove through the trees until it finally gave up chasing me. Then, sighing in relief, I looped back and returned to Kerr, who was also at a safe distance. Looks like it gave up, but what about its young? It'll be fine. The feathers will grow back and it can still hop back to its nest. Its babies won't need to eat as constantly at this stage anyway.
Thanks.
You know a lot about them then. Thanks for the suggestion. He snorted indignantly. I already told you, they're food. Of course I'd know about them. Soon the forest was quiet once again, with only the sounds of our footsteps and the tap of Kerr's walking stick breaking the silence. Surprisingly, he did not protest when I suggested a safer route, nor when I walked nearly shoulder to shoulder with him. I had the feeling that starting a regular conversation would push my luck, so I had kept my mouth shut and instead hoped for no more setbacks. Oh, well, this doesn't look creepy. This is it?
Yeah.
It's not a very deep cave. You can simply make a turn and the altar is right there.
The hell?
That's it? No complex mazes? No shiny sacred magic lake with a guardian or anything? Hey, we did what we could. This is a modest altar. I took a deep breath and smiled reminiscently. I haven't been here in years. I think I came before to make the occasional offering around harvest season. I gave Kerr a cheerful look, but he continued forward, ignoring my recollections. I shrugged and followed, quickly catching up to him. Kerr awkwardly knelt down before the altar, discarding the walking stick once he was comfortable. His eyes closed with a softened scowl, almost as if he was meditating. Suddenly, his mineral-like ears perked up, and he stared directly at the statue. There was no change in atmosphere, but I could tell Kerr was angry. His hand tightly gripped his knee. I know we're connected. I demand that you remove this stupid curse. He fell silent, and I looked around in amusement. He was talking to someone, but I could not hear the other half of the conversation. For some reason, that made me even more attentive as I tried to piece everything together. You can't be serious. So I said a few things, but, huh? Yes, I've met the one. That's how I found the altar in the first place. He rolled towards me and blinked in confusion, as if studying me for the first time. I stiffened, wondering why he was staring at me so intensely. Once he finally turned away, I relaxed, although I could not help but feel anxious about the discussion. What about me?
Annoying.
I'm not reading that. I don't know why, but I don't feel like reading that. He is referring to heavenkind in general, or just me? Half decent, right. Oh, what the heck? Well, that was weird rendering for a second. Whoa! Kerr? By the time I had knelt down and worryingly grabbed his shoulder, the flash had already disappeared. In one smooth movement, Kerr removed my hand and stood up without the walking stick. His eyes still seemed focused beyond me, and he slowly nodded to himself. Did your powers return or something? He extended his palm and lurched towards the ground, slamming it against the hard stone. Hulk smash. The entire cave shook. The tremor visibly and mentally shook me as well, and my heart pounded loudly. I felt so paralyzed that I couldn't even scream. Once I found my balance, I looked bewilderedly at Kerr, who smugly flexed his arm-hardened fingers. I stared curiously at his cocksure expression. So... He barely glanced my direction. It's not exactly what I wanted. However, a portion of my original powers and strength are back, along with my balance. I can actually be comfortable in this form now. Oh, I thought he slapped orally for a second. He gave a dismissive kick to the walking stick, then promptly walked away from the altar. I mustered a small smile.
Right!
Well, that's promising at least. What will you do next? Do what he ordered me to do and become normal again.
I don't need your help.
Ah. So you don't need to follow me. I had to anyway. There was only one way out of that cave. But as soon as we were in the open air, Kerr took off running with the grace and speed and I'm sure no real heavenkind could ever replicate. I blinked once, and sure enough, I was alone. I scratched the back of my head, still absorbing what just happened. You're welcome? Burying my head in my hands, I shook out my hair in frustration. Was I expecting something from this? Well, a thank you would have been nice. I tapped my sword hilt for reassurance. It's what a knight does. They help the weak and demonstrate their generosity when it's needed. Well, Kerr's not weak anymore. He can definitely take care of himself now. I guess my duty is done.
Right.
Mission complete. Just some experience as a reward and a discarded walking stick. Deciding not to linger any longer, I started walking back toward Barry. My parents would certainly be worried by now. Are we gonna finally see what this town looks like? Oh, new chapter? Uh-huh. Chapter 2. Welcome back. I trekked back through the forest, careful to avoid any more wild animals. When I reached the spot where I'd previously set up camp, I decided to take a quick break to eat. I unwrapped my bread and cheese, poking half-heartedly at their grainy texture as I stared at the remains of the campfire. As I was about to take a bite, I had an odd feeling of discomfort and glanced sideways. I knew he'd come back. It's like there's no way. But it would have been nice if he didn't come back, to be honest. Not that I'm being mean, but I think it would have helped the story more. Am I really imagining things? I sighed. Kerr, I know you're there. You don't have to hide. There was only silence at first, but I heard a slight rustle and turned my head again. Seriously, you just moved to another location. I hope you weren't going to wait until I was asleep to steal my stuff.
Shut up!
Kerr reluctantly emerged from behind one of the bigger trees. His expression looked conflicted, and I could tell he did not want to be with me again. Welcome back. Did you miss me? Well, you're out of luck. I don't know the whereabouts of any other dragon caves, nor am I carrying more apple tarts if you're hungry. There really is no reason to stick with me. You'll need to get another guide, or find someone else that can help. A small idea formed in my head. Wait, perhaps I could accompany Kerr to Oliver. If I explain the situation to Mom, maybe she'll consider writing me the night recommendation letter.
Right!
Then, if you'd like, I'll accompany you to Barry. From there, we can travel to Oliver. It's a huge city. You could probably find directions to the other altars there. Does that sound acceptable? He grumbled in agreement and sat down on the fallen log I was using, but near the edge to leave plenty of space between us.
Look,
My master also asked me to interact with heavenkind more, and I've already been with you long enough. Nice to know I'm tolerable to be around. And your master doesn't seem that bad. He has an interest in working with heavenkind. I guess he didn't like it when one of his pupils didn't share his point of view. I grinned wryly. At least he was kind enough to curse you with some clothes. I didn't think dragons normally wore clothes. Is that a spell, or are those the genuine articles? Kerr tugged in his shirt, as if suddenly aware of it. I think it's a spell? It won't wear off or anything, will it? He scoffed. I assure you the spell won't wear off from my clothes. It's just that I don't want to glance back during, I don't know, the heat of battle and catch you stark naked.
shut up!
Stay
Please?
focused.
No. I trust in the magical sustainability of those clothes, so please keep them on. Besides, you'll stay warmer that way. Is that why you heavenkind wear them? Something like that. I pulled off some of the bread and popped it into my mouth. Kerr watched briefly with interest before haughtily averting his eyes. Let me guess, you're hungry as well? I don't know what heavenkinds consume, but I don't think it can eat what I normally would. As he pursed his lips, I handed him the rest of the bread. He arched his eyebrow in surprise at the offering. It's fine, I had a small breakfast, and I'll be back in Barry soon. Without bothering to inspect it like he did with the apple tart, Kerr crammed the bread into his mouth. I stifled a laugh since I had a feeling dragons kept no concept of chewing. Propping an elbow on my knee, I watched him with amusement. I was also feeling a little unimpressed with how dismissive he was towards me. Glower at him or tease him? Well, first off, I don't know what the heck glower means. I think it means like, was it smirk? Or like, look at him? So, I don't want to get on his bad side, so if he looks suspicious, this is not going to work well. But I don't want to tease him either, so. Fuck it, let's see what happens. I lowered my voice to imitate him. Oh, Orly, I'm so eternally grateful. You are the best that heavenkind has to offer, and I'm so glad you helped me, fed me, and led me to where I needed to go. Where would I be without you and your immeasurable kindness? Thank you. Kerr coughed violently as he tried to respond and failed. As I continued, I feigned a sweet giggle and fluttered my fingers toward him.
You're welcome.
Oh, Kerr, it was nothing. You're welcome. After pounding his chest and swallowing loudly, Kerr tried to speak up.
Shut up!
Before he could start, I stuffed the last portion of cheese into his mouth. I kept my hand there and exchanged a meaningful look. His quizzical stare softened, and I took a step back. It's nothing. You finished eating. I'm going to take a quick walk. I stalked off before he could answer. And that does it for Autumn's Journey, Part 3. So, we're kind of seeing Orly as the whimsical, kind of typical Otome in these kinds of games. So, next part, we're probably going to find out what the heck's going on. See you guys then.